See where I put things I create at. Not for the Weaker Sex by David J. Rowbottom. Volume 7. How to Marry Badly. Marriage, My Life and Other Things to Laugh At. The following subchapters are signs that should have warned me that this was not perhaps the woman for me. See if you can spot them faster than I did. It took me 7 years. The day trip experience. One beautiful Sunday morning, my girlfriend and I were at a loss for something to do. Me, let's go for a drive to the seaside. Her, that's a good idea. And me, where would you like to go? Her, I'm not bothered, you choose. Me, how about Southport? Her, oh, it'll be too windy. Me, Bridlington. Her, too common. Me, Anglesey. Her, too barren. Me, oh, I know. What about the lakes? Her, it'll be raining. It always rains in the lakes. Me, or we could just go shopping if you like. Her, where? Me, anywhere you'd like. Her, town. Me, town it is. I'll drive. Her, I need some lunch first. I'm still a bit tired too. Me, okay. You have a doze and I'll make some food. We didn't go. She slept until 3 in the afternoon while the food went cold on the bedside cabinet. I watched Ice Cold in Alex. Great movie. Shit day out. Writer's note. The final scene, in which Mills's character finally gets his glass of lager, was reportedly filmed some weeks after the rest of the film. Real lager had to be used to look right, and Mills had to drink numerous full glasses until the shots were finished. Apparently he was a little heady by the end. The shopping experience. Requiring a big shop, my girlfriend and I went to the third most local supermarket. We missed out the first two because, as she pointed out, you can walk to them, so you get common people in there. You have to drive to this one, so you get a better class of shopper. She drove all the way in 4th gear. I say this because I once had the temerity to drive in a 30 miles per hour zone in 5th gear. The low rumble of the engine gave her a headache. The music was playing so quietly that the sound of me pushing down on the imaginary brake each time she came to a junction drowned it out. I say this because I once had the temerity to put music on, in my own car, above the pre-discussed level. The high rumble of the bass gave her a headache. The equilibrium was balancing on a knife edge. We parked up and walked toward the trolley bay. Have you got the bags? She asked. Are they in the boot? I asked. Yes, she replied. I waited. And waited. Tell you what, I said eventually. I'll get them, eh? Give me the keys. You get a trolley. Okay, she answered and threw me the keys. The rest of the story goes something like this. Her, are you sure you need more boxer shorts? Me, I don't need them. But some are getting a bit holy, so I thought I'd replace them. Her, can't you get them when you shop alone? They're going to go on the food bill now. Me, it's 3 pairs for 8 quid. Her, harumph. Can you get some cooked meat for the salad, please? I'll get the salad. You like the wild leaf, crunchy sweet spinach, rocket, beetroot and mixed leaf stuff I usually get, don't you? Me, well, actually, I really prefer a nice crispy iceberg let. Oh, you've gone. Right, I thought, cooked meat. What do I like? A little crumbed ham would be nice. And for a quiet life, I'll get her some chorizo, parma, and a selection of salamis. Marvelous. Her, did you get the meat? Me? Yes. Her, oh, chorizo. I love chorizo. Well done. Why did you get crumbed ham? Me, I thought I could make a sandwich for my lunch tomorrow. Her, oh, okay, we'll need bread then. Me, okay, I said as I picked some batteries from the shelf. We'll get bread then. Her, batteries? Why are you getting batteries? How many do we need? Me, 22 altogether. I've counted the electrical devices in the house that use AA and AAA, and the number of batteries we need to be constantly batteried up is 22. Her, okay. She had stopped listening. I'm getting these towels for the bathroom. What do you think? Me, turquoise, do they go? Her, of course they go. There's the bottle on the windowsill. They'll go with that. Me, right. Her, more ketchup. We've got ketchup. Me, I used some last night and it made that farting noise. Her, stand it on its head. You'll get the last bits out. Me, I did. Her, what bread do you want? Me, Any, I don't mind. Her, I'll get those bagels I like, the ones with cinnamon. Me, oh, that'll go nice with crumbed ham. Her, well, get what you want then. Me, okay, I'll get some 3 for £1 ciabatta. Her, that's a lot of bread. Is there room in the freezer? Me, only if I take your body parts to the tip, instead of bagging them up and freezing them as planned. And so on. You get the picture. The home furnishings experience. I'm going to start this subchapter with a badly copied logo. And that logo is... Writer's note. Please note that I altered the logo a little so as to not get sued. Writer's note. This does, however, beg the age-old question. What came first? The IKEA logo or the Associated Television logo? I'll let you decide. Now, I'm not saying that IKEA is responsible for anything more than offering interesting furnishings and accessories at a reasonable price. They have a wonderful range, and assuming you have a brain and a little patience, their flat-packed furniture is something of a marvel. Writer's note. If you look carefully at this range of IKEA catalogues, you will notice that they only have a few designs. They simply reintroduce furniture for each generation. I often wonder, though, what would happen if the boys at the IKEA lab dedicated their time to the subject of world peace, rather than devising unique methods for assembling flat-pack furniture? Would we, I wonder, live on a peaceful and logically constructed planet? Writer's note, I hate this guy. Instead, the boys in blue and yellow while away months inventing ridiculously unique furniture fastening systems and reverse thread locking devices. It's like they've been born and raised on an IKEA commune somewhere near Agunarid and have been purposely blocked from ever seeing a crosshead screw, the simple and obvious solution that the rest of the world uses for fixing one piece of wood to another piece of wood, on the off chance that they may discover something more efficient. The effort these people put into making their furniture bolt, screw, and dowel together using alternative methods from the rest of the known world never ceases to amaze. They put years of effort into designing and manufacturing a little right-angled gubbins, which, although remarkably wonderful in design, does tend to overcomplicate the action of fitting together the two sides of a very simple TV unit. Or an Allen key whose size sits somewhere between metric and imperial. Then there are the tiny little bottles of white glue that are the exact size for the specific job. Who does this? Whose job is it to measure out the amount of white glue that is required to stick those ill-fitting dowels into the badly drilled holes? Do they share the job between a few people, or is there one guy in a white coat who has to go to work every day under the job title of Adhesive Quantity Appointer? Good night, Mr. Larson. Have you had a good day? No, Hedvig, of course I've not had a good day. I've spent the last 30 years of my life deciding the quantity of adhesive to appoint to each dowel in every item of furniture this awful fucking company have ever designed. Fuck off. In complete contrast to the complexity of these flat-packed monsters of construction, writer's note, try the office metal drawer unit for size. This thing comes with a certificate stating that you will hold a degree in engineering from the University of Stockholm if you can prove that all the drawers function correctly upon completion. You have the LAC range of furniture. This selection of budget coffee tables and TV stands comes with square legs designed to be fixed to the top using one solitary yet still clever double-ended screw. Right in the middle. This means days and nights of pain for your average OCD sufferer because these legs swivel and turn and are never square on. And flimsy? Placing anything heavier than an after-eight mint on the coffee table will make it sprawl on your IKEA rug like a newborn gazelle. So thanks IKEA for killing the male weekend and replacing it with thousands and thousands of different versions of the following story. IKEA, we're in IKEA. We've ascended the ramp and driven past the exciting spiral driveway to what I can only assume is Valhalla, writer's note. I have been to IKEA on Saturdays and bank holidays and have never seen these roof car parks open to the public. How busy does IKEA need to be before they open the legendary and clearly exclusive rooftop parking area? We parked in one of the ever-decreasing car park slots, between a Mini the size of a Range Rover and a Range Rover the size of a small commercial aircraft, and squoze out of the sunroof. As we set off toward the enormous lift, she spoke. "Did you bring the big blue IKEA bag?" "I think it's in the boot," said I whimsically. "Tell you what," I said, "I'll get it. Give me the keys. You get a trolley." "Okay," she answered and threw me the keys. Now, if you've never graced an IKEA with your presence and therefore had to be complicit in performing the multitude of unwritten and yet seemingly unavoidable, banal tasks that accompany the day out in a large blue and yellow Swedish home, then all I can say is, well done. How in the name of all sanity did you manage to achieve this? You've either been single your entire life and never felt the need to part with hundreds of pounds for the right to sit on an amazingly uncomfortable dining room chair, or your partner is sneaking there behind your back and you don't realize because she's put you into a financial coma that you are parting with hundreds of pounds to sit on a remarkably uncomfortable futon. Writer's note: take a break from reading this book and have a quick search for the name on the label of the item you're currently perching your bum on. If it sounds like the sort of name you'd give to a husky pulling your sled over the frozen tundra, then, buddy, I got news for you. You're an IKEA bitch. This can be confirmed with a quick trip to the freezer. If you find what look like little frozen balls of cat poo, then it is indisputable. Don't be sad, though. It's as inevitable as taxes and death. However, if you have miraculously somehow managed to avoid the blue and yellow demon that resides in the bowels of Swedish hell, this next section is going to scare the shit out of you. It will seem like an episode of Life and Death on the Serengeti and will make you question your place in the food chain. It is very dangerous in IKEA if you have any kind of erectile tissue whatsoever. There are arrows that you must follow. There are little pencils that only the tiniest of fingers can control. There are so many different size options that you are supplied with a tape measure so mind-numbingly flimsy that the only reason you pick it up and pocket it is because it comes under the heading free stuff. The number of bespoke options is mind-boggling. Writer's note: I'm very proud of the fact that I can complete a Rubik's Cube, which has 43 quintillion possible combinations, in under 2 minutes. Why then is it that the internal storage options for IKEA wardrobes make me want to break down and cry? You are cajoled into eating Swedish meatballs. Not Italian meatballs. Not New York meatballs. Swedish meatballs. Writer's note: little round bouncy things, and the only food I have ever eaten that exits my body in exactly the same condition as it entered. They cover them in a liquid the shade they used on their Volvos during the 1970s and have the temerity to call it gravy. Every British person knows what gravy should look like and taste like, and yet we allow the bottom jaw of the creature about to consume Denmark to tell us that this light brown goo is gravy. If I opened a chip shop in any region of the British Isles and poured this stuff onto your pie, chips and peas, you would be well within your rights to mash up a barm cake and stuff so far down my throat that a hot dog bun would pop out the other end. Writer's note: the British Isles is a funny old place, as is best demonstrated by the sheer number of regional words used to describe a bread roll. Bread roll, or roll, is the most popular, but just look how many there are. And when you've finished all of your puke-brown slop, all under the judgmental glare of your significant other, you are then forced, under pain of never hearing the fucking last of it, to wash down this Swedish offal with a slice of loganberry pie. This is a bizarre fruit which was accidentally created in 1883 by a Californian lawyer. Writer's note: I shit you not. It was accidentally created in 1881 in Santa Cruz, California, by the American judge and horticulturist James Harvey Logan, 1841-1928. Logan, unsatisfied with the existing varieties of blackberries, tried crossing 2 varieties of blackberries to produce a superior cultivar. He accidentally planted them next to plants of an old variety of red raspberry which flowered and fruited together. Logan then gathered and planted the seed from his crossbred plants. His 50 seedlings produced plants similar to the blackberry but larger and more vigorous. One was the loganberry, the others included the mammoth blackberry. How a Swedish furnishings outlet decides on the Loganberry as its choice of filling is a complete mystery to me. It's a bit like British home stores cafes choosing Mexican fish and chips with a rambutan tart for pudding as its signature dish. So, full of what passes for Swedish cuisine, you wind your way through the store, following the arrows as if your very existence depended on it, and find yourself getting strangely interested in things that, until now, have held absolutely no fascination to you. A utensil hook. A clever wardrobe storage solution. Paper lampshades. Writer's note, paper fucking lampshades. You slowly begin to have interior design opinions. Darling, do you think this would look nice on the kitchen windowsill? I say, this is a beautiful rug. I can definitely see it in the living room. This paper lampshade, do you suppose it's up to fire regulations? Unfortunately, each and every one of your comments and suggestions is, without exception, disagreed with because this is not your domain. You have no opinion worth considering, unless it is to convert the wattage rating of a new energy-saving bulb into old watts. And yet, the trolley keeps filling up, with things you will not only have to pay half towards, but will have to carry and construct too. How can the trolley be filled up with things you have to pay half towards if half of those things aren't at least half your decision? You realize that you have not had a say in a single item in the trolley, and all you have done for the last 40 minutes is nod inanely at items that sound like the birthplace of members of ABBA. Yes, sweetheart, I agree. Do you know, it would look nice there. Looks great. Seems to fit. Yes, it does. Yes, it might. Let me measure that for you. It's the same as a normal 40-watt bulb, I think. Yes, it is confusing. Ah, I see what you're getting at now. Mauve is good. I'm sure it will go. Why don't you say something fucking useful? Something that sounds like it's coming out of your mouth. But you can't seem to do it, can you? All your normal thoughts have gone. There must be something in the gravy. Logic dictates that you should be able to legitimately comment on this wholly unfair ritual, but, like all men trapped in the nightmarish hell of Swedish torture, you decide it's not worth the argument and pop some of those yellow batteries in the bottom of the trolley while she's not watching, just to annoy her. Everything. In the above ground floor section of the store, all the arrows, meaty balls of hooves and lips, all the size, colour and material options pale into insignificance when you finally make your way down the dreaded, sloped moving floor which locks your trolley, wheels to the home of Beelzebub that is the warehouse area. 300 couples or 600 usually sane people, all trying to find an aisle, number and location that seemingly doesn't exist. You must have written it down wrong. Ask the assistant. Well, there is no aisle, 0. And through all of this you wait. Patiently. You know that if you can just get through this next hour, you'll be free. Free to do anything but this. So you wait. You do as you're told. You bite your lip. You lift, drag, carry and stack. You agree, nod, smile and look suitably frustrated. You hate this. My particular woman leaves me to queue as she goes and gets 2 hot dogs. I didn't need more offal, but it was just easier to say yes. Well, I can't have one if you're not having one, she said. Okay then, you answered with resignation. I'll have one. While internally trying to formulate the polite response to her inevitable future question. Do I still look okay in this bikini? Without mentioning shopping trip hot dogs, she arrived back at the till just as the batteries were being scanned. Do we need batteries? She said. I hung my head and watched as in every direction I saw clever people and sane people. Efficient people and happy people. Single people. People who had come to this furniture temple for a reason, other than to argue with someone and follow arrows. They had come here to, wait for it, buy furniture. These were the people who weren't dreaming of Swedish meatballs all week. They didn't peruse. They didn't use little pencils and tape measures. They knew exactly what they wanted and went straight to it. They checked the catalogue website and planned their purchases before they arrived. Okay, they may occasionally lose control and buy a bag of tea-light candles or a 6-foot by 4-foot black and white canvas of Times Square with one yellow taxi in the middle, but generally they were having neither a good time nor a bad time. They were just passing time. They get what they want, batteries too if they need them, pay at the till, and go home to quietly construct an item of furniture to replace the one they lost in the divorce. No conflict. No weird Swedish biscuits from the shop of Scandinavian wonderment behind the tills. No conversation other than the one they have in their head as they attempt to get a flat-packed multi-storage system wardrobe into the back of a Toyota Aygo. They are exactly as happy or as sad as they feel. The socializing experience, the works do. I don't like your friends. The sentence each man fears more than any other. That's not entirely true. In fact, it's way down the list. What do you mean you've come? It was on sale. Everyone else I've been intimate with was fine with it. Don't ever put it in there again. These sentences are higher on the list. I don't like your friends are actually the words that annoy man more than any other. And yet man is expected to tolerate woman's friends, even in some cases, like them. For months I'd been listening to my partner bang on about the relationship sagas of women from work. Karen did this, and Dawn does that. Sandy's boyfriend Darren has a really sore blah 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 blah. I knew intimate details about Darren that I'm not certain I knew about myself. And then it came. The works do. Obviously, as the dutiful boyfriend I went. I nodded when I should have nodded. I shook hands with people when hands were offered. I did everything in my power to avoid dancing. I danced when my power was usurped by the bad-tempered partner. I soft-kissed numerous cheeks once, twice, and thrice, never once understanding why each person wanted a different number. I met Sandy and gave her a knowing smile. I met Darren and politely refused to shake his hand, writer's note. You would have too if you'd known what I knew. The night ended with a huge argument because I genuinely can't remember. All I remember is that she was very drunk. I have a distant memory about saying something sarcastic and embarrassing her in front of her friends. Writer's note. To be honest, that does sound like something I would have done, but it won't have come from nowhere. One of her friends must have prodded my sarcasm button. It was a lot of fun. Arguing in the street with a deranged drunken woman who has no self-awareness and is wailing at the top of her voice. Always is. The chance meeting with friends. One day while we were out in town, we accidentally bumped into Dawn and Karen. We all went to the same coffee shop but had very different experiences. I stared at a pigeon while the three of them giggled and chunned and said, "No, she didn't." I then considered whether Dawn and Karen would be up for a threesome, while the three of them smirked and gasped and said, "Get out." During a spell of lucidity, just in between trying to blur my eyes so much that I could see 2 coffee cups where only one stood and thinking to myself, for fuck's sake, do you three ever fucking shut up? I tried to imagine a similar scenario reversed. We're walking through town when, lo, you happen to bump into your 2 best mates. It's a genuine surprise because, unlike your girlfriend's contrived via text meeting, this is purely a stroke of luck. Here's how the conversation would go. "Hey, look," I'd say, "look who it is." "Hi, guys, what you up to?" "Hi, dude, we're just having a wander." It beats standing outside next while the girls try things on, eh? "Well," I'd say as my girlfriend glanced at me. "Anyway," I'd stutter, as the glance would become wide-eyed, "it's good to see you." Then the glance would gain a furrowed brow, and I knew, I'll be in touch soon, I guess. I had to wrap things up. Suddenly the wide-eyed glance with a furrowed brow would become a beaming smile, and she'd say, "Lovely to see you both, but we have to get on. Say hello to the girls from us." Back at the coffee shop with Dawn and Karen, I noticed that this has been going on for an hour and 10 minutes. Then suddenly, just after I'd concluded that Karen was the better looking of the two, meaning Dawn would be on rear duty, it was over. There was a commotion of niceties, including kisses and hugs, and then they were gone, as quickly as they had appeared. With an hour and 10-minute window in the middle where I had got to study the daily life of one particular pigeon amongst hundreds, learned to blur my eyes enough to see 2 cups, and made some incredibly harsh decisions about the lovely Karen and her rear gunner, Dawn. And then she said it. And still I didn't realize that she wasn't for me. "You know what really pisses me off about Dawn?" she said. And I realized that just because the 2 girls had left, it didn't mean that the bitch fest was over. She's so two-faced. If I thought staring aimlessly at winged vermin was hard, it's nothing compared to having to listen. There was no foil. No other set of ears with a greater duty than mine to listen. It was me who had to listen to her trash talk 2 friends she'd just spent over an hour laughing and joking with. The ensuing monologue went on for about an hour. So long, in fact, that I started to forget what my own voice sounded like. I made occasional noises just to reassure myself that I could actually still speak, but it was relentless. To simulate the conversation, writer's note, freedictionary.com defines conversation thus: the spoken exchange of thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Talk. Sorry, tirade, I shall represent her talking with a noise similar to that made by Graham Chapman, performing as the Reverend Arthur Belling, as he rolls around on the floor during his appeal for sanity in the Monty Python sketch Silly Vicar. The role of me speaking will be played by the word Ding 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Just checking to see if you're reading all of these and taking this section seriously. Ding, 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 ding. Ding 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 ding, ding 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 ding, ding 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 ding, ding ding ding, ding 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 ding, ding 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 ding, ding ding ding, ding 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 ding, ting ting, ting ting, ting ting ting, etc. The rest of the trip was a blur, and not the good visual kind, when you can turn one thing into 2. As we made our way back to the car, laden somehow with arms full of shopping bags from various boutiques, I got a text message. She gives you a quick, wide-eyed grimace with a furrowed brow to signify that she is not happy with me receiving felonious texts, and waits while I read it. "It's from John," I said. "He's invited us round tonight for a meal with him and his girlfriend. What do you think?" "Oh, I don't really want to go, babe. You know I don't like John," she said. "You go if you want." As I exhaled, I wondered if it was possible to just keep breathing out until the lights dimmed, and I drifted into a happy, woman-free state of elation. The commitment experience. As a man, you get to an age, a point in your life when you wonder if it's time to grow up. Women are born grown up. They play with prams and dolls that require nappy changes from age 3. They elaborately plan weddings from age 7. Boys shoot things and hurt things and fiddle with things until they break, up to about age 30. 35, if they're lucky. Then it hits them. Some force, some feeling. The male equivalent, perhaps, of being left on the shelf. What the reason for this feeling is, I don't know, but I honestly cannot see why a modern man needs a wife. I refer you to the very last minutes of the wonderful film, How to Murder Your Wife. Harold. What would I do without Edna? She plans the meals, sends my shirts to the laundry, Stanley. Harold, you're making another basic common masculine mistake. You're confusing love and laundry. Let me tell you something. For years now, a very nice gentleman who operates, for reasons I shall never understand, under the name of Madame Renee, has been picking up my shirts every Monday and bringing them back beautifully done every Thursday. And not once in all those years have I felt the slightest urge to marry him. Here's a list of what a man needs from life and the very practical solutions that don't involve the nonsense, cost, and lifetime commitment that comes with a wedding day and then marital bondage. Man's needs, simple solutions, food. For this we have supermarket delivery. All the eBay-style fun of surfing for things delivered right to your door. You get to eat it all too. Laundry. There are wonderful numerous services available who pick up your dirty laundry, clean and press it, and then re-deliver it to your door at a time convenient to you. Alternatively, you could learn to do your own laundry. How hard can it be? Housework. The internet is awash with house cleaning companies who clean your house to the exact level you specify. MB. Do not make the mistake of hiring an attractive housemaid. The years of porn movies you watched are a lie. They do not wear skimpy outfits and bend over a lot saying things like, "Oops, I've dropped my duster, sir," or "I've missed a spot of vacuuming and must be punished." Companionship. You get to a certain age where you have an established circle of friends who serve you in the many ways you need servicing. These are what you would call your proximity friends. They aren't particularly loyal and could potentially have sex with your partner. This is unimportant to you because you can live with or without them in your life. They are there to watch sport with, to listen to music with, to discuss the issues of the day with, to watch movies with. They are your playthings as you are theirs. Loyalty. You get to a certain age where you are stuck with whichever friends have made it through your many culling sessions. These are what you would call your close friends. They are loyal and, unlike a wife, will never have sex with one of your best friends or leave you and expect a large payoff. Support. You get to a certain age where you find you have one or two people in your life who are completely trustworthy and who also give good advice. These are what you would call your best friends. They are loyal and will always tell you if you're being a dickhead and support you with real, genuine love if you need it. Unconditional love. Buy a puppy and you will get unconditional love for approximately 15 years. It will lick you, it will pine for you, it will walk with you, and it will sleep with you. It will leap on you whenever you enter the house. It will walk over to you to say hello every time you enter a room. It won't sleep with your best friend. It won't sleep with anyone but you. It will cost you money to feed and occasionally repair, but it will love you more than anything else in your life. Occasional critique. Buy a kitten and it will grow into your greatest critic. It will shun you, turn its back on you, attack you, give no impression that it knows you exist until it is hungry, and give the cat, equivalent of a tut and a headshake, about absolutely everything you do. Sex. For sex, we have internet porn and its many categories and escort agencies. Remember to always read the advert very carefully because an escort agency is very, very different from a Ford dealership. Progeny. For this you will need a woman, NB, not a woman for life. You only need a woman for about 37 seconds. While compiling this list, it occurred to me how ludicrous it is to expect all of these diverse needs from one person. It is simply unfair. How did we get ourselves into such a civilized mess? It's not a woman's or a man's job to do all of these things. It's a job for a team of specialists. Specialists handpicked by us over time. We lose some along the way. We upgrade or improve our current specialists with the open and honest discussion. We certainly don't need a partner who will be shackled to us for the rest of our lives. We all need to find our own Terry Thomas. Writer's note. Seriously, watch How to Murder Your Wife. To hope that one person could fulfill all of these roles is pure whimsy. It is fantasy because we need, of course, to add into the mix the frailties of the human being, the meanness and hatred and viciousness of the human spirit, the vitriol it is possible for one person to spit at another, the amazing lack of parity that can exist in people's minds when it comes to the treatment of their fellow man-woman. So if we've established that men don't require marriage, then I think we can safely assume that they, in no way imaginable, desire a wedding day. Never in all my years have I known a man of any age, of any background, be anything other than factual about his marriage proposal and wedding day. This is not to say that he isn't emotional or happy about them. It's just that he hasn't dreamt of the moment since his own conception. He hasn't drawn pictures of the suit he'll wear or the classic car he'll arrive in. He hasn't spent years deciding what the table favors will be. He hasn't chosen and then discarded a rainbow of color choices for everything from the chair-back dressings to the bridesmaids' undergarments. He hasn't internally struck people off imaginary guest lists in his head each time they've annoyed him. So why do we do it? What is the force that drives us to get down on one knee, or arrange a piggyback skydive, or organize similar romantic situations, all designed to make the moment you ask your chosen woman if they'll marry you a special occasion? The same force that makes you think something is missing from your Playboy lifestyle? The same force that makes you give up the life of a free man and tie yourself to financial and moral obligations. That force is woman, and woman needs a wedding. The female wedding experience. There may be women reading this who will look at the above table and say, well, women don't need men for any of these things either, and good for you because you're right, you don't. We as human beings should have no natural instinct to spend all our time with one member of the opposite sex for the entirety of our lives. Bonding with someone and building a life together is fine. We live to procreate, and a stable environment is clearly the best way to raise decent and well-rounded offspring. Would you agree, however, that if women no longer discuss marriage, it would, as an institution, die out? Only one person can answer the question, does man want to get married? Only the owner of the specific brain can be the owner of the honest answer. Men do not have serious conversations with other men on subjects such as marriage. We joke with each other about it. We moan about our woman's obsession with it. We never, ever tell each other that we want it. I genuinely believe that it's women, and women alone, who want a wedding day. I have female friends who openly admit that they have been planning this damn day since they can remember. But do women actually want marriage, or do they crave the day? Only one person can answer the question. Does woman need a wedding day? And that person is the force we call woman. The proposal experience. My chosen force said yes. She then immediately asked, have you ever asked anyone else to marry you? Followed by, upon studying the gold ring, I prefer platinum. And I still didn't see the signs. Incredible. My wedding day was in truth okay, but I have no desire to write about it. The divorce experience. On the day of the 7th wedding anniversary, she asked for a divorce. Internally, I danced around the room as party poppers went off in my head to the Colonel Bogey March. Externally, I was very upset indeed. As every man who has suffered the long and painful path of marital dysfunction knows, it's better if she asks for the divorce. Thousands and thousands of pounds better. It wasn't all her fault. It takes two to make a rotten marriage, but it was all her fault, and I blame her completely. My book, My Rules. I found out that 9 months later, she had a child. I can absolutely guarantee it was not mine. See where I put things I create at.